It was just 4 days ago that Ryobi, not Ryobi, announced the launch of their new VerseLink Plus stereo right here. So let's take a look at it so you can get a first-hand look, and it's going to be launching in July. I want to start out by telling you my very first observation as I took this out of the box is that this is quite heavy. So, you know, I've reviewed several different job site radios and speakers over the years, and I've noticed that the ones that are really lightweight don't have such a great sound, and the ones that are really heavy seem to have a nice rich sound. And we're going to turn this on for you in just a minute so you can hear it a little bit. I also want to point out, in case you didn't know, this is link compatible with the other Bluetooth speakers that they launched last spring. So as you can see right here, it connects up to 100 speakers. I never took that sticker off. I want to save it for a video sometime, so might as well do it now. So I don't believe I ever made a dedicated long form video on these right here. I did show some vertical videos how these work, and it's really quite amazing. So you have your primary speaker and then you have your secondary speaker. So what I did earlier today is I was testing all this out. I set this as my primary speaker, and this really ties it all together now because this has that extra bass sound. It has a 50-watt subwoofer.
This has 50 watts per channel. 50 watts!
And then two 15-watt mid speakers. So for the past year, I've been using either 3 or 4 of these outside as I'm working, and I noticed that when you go from one to the other when you're listening, there isn't any time lapse or delay from one to the other. These are perfectly in sync, which I was really excited. I'll give you a couple examples how I set these up for doing some testing. So let's say across the back of my property right here, I'm looking at a different monitor right there. So if I had a long narrow garden and I was, you know, getting down my hands and knees and stuff, I probably wouldn't want to wear earbuds. Like if you're getting all sweaty and stuff, it'd be nice just to have these right here to listen to. So let's say I have one speaker here, another one over there, another one like 20 feet over there, and another one over there. It's a long narrow garden. Then when you walk from one to the other, it's like seamless. So it worked out really well that way. And then another way that I could test this out, let's say I'm working in just one big like rectangle or square or circle. So you could have the speakers all pointing inward where you're at. So I noticed in that circumstance, that's actually where these really shine. That's where you have sounds coming from all different directions. If you're working over here and you turn, you work over there, you're always hearing the sound. It's really cool hearing it whichever way you turn. And now with this one right here, this provides that extra boom and that bass that you're going to like when you're listening to that. So if you don't want that, then there are some different modes on here. So there is like a mode for talk radio. So there's also one for bass. There's one for treble plus. And then the one that's standard when you turn it on, that's called hi-fi. And that just has a really rich sound. It's just probably the one I'll listen to the most. All right, so let's zoom in now and take a close look at all the features on this. So the way that Ryobi describes their new VerseLink stereo is that it creates a more immersive experience, offering a wider sound stage for all listening needs. And when I first looked at this, the contrast, the colors, I was wondering if something like lifts up where you could store something inside, but no, that is all part of the stereo right there. So the one thing it has this handle right here that lifts. And then another thing to point out is this is compatible with their link system. So whether you have their rolling toolbox or you have that set up on their wall, this right here will connect, as you can see. So this right here is a hybrid design as far as the power goes. So you can run off a battery, or if you take that out, you can see you can plug an extension cord in right there and you could have all the runtime in the world. So if you're running their 6 amp hour battery, you'll get up to 12 hours of runtime. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the features on the front, and then we're going to go ahead and play some royalty-free music through here with my Bluetooth. So right here is the power button. All right, so this gear icon right here, that'll toggle between your Bluetooth mode and your stereo mode. So one thing I didn't realize when I looked at this on the box, that it does include AM/FM radio, which I definitely like, and like these do not. So it's cool that if I want to listen to a game like on AM radio, this works really well for that, or just a local station. All right, so then you can see right here as I'm toggling through when you get in that mode right there. So treble plus, voice, hi-fi, bass plus. So it's very easy to go through this interface right here. It's not too many buttons, It's very easy to figure out. I really didn't even read the instructions. So right up here we have a USB charging port right here for like your phone or electronics. So this is a USB-A, I believe, the typical one. So one other thing I forgot to point out in the bottom right here, it has these 4 rubber feet, and that's really nice because I open this up and put it on my kitchen counter, and it's just nice to know that it's not going to scratch. So I'll just tell you, as I was using my iPhone right here, testing out the Bluetooth, I walked way over there to the far corner where I mow. Let me zoom in there a minute. So as I look at that distance all the way over there to the edge near that tree, that's about 250 feet. I'd say that's about the distance of a men's softball left field fence. So I noticed at that far distance, if I was holding the phone steady, like a clear line of sight, that it was getting a clear signal to this. But if I started walking around using my phone at that far distance, then it started to crackle once in a while. So I don't know if you had this, if you'd use it that far away, but it's just good to know that you can walk from quite a distance and it will work fine. Okay, I got my royalty-free music ready to go on my phone. It's time we test this out. So I came across a random royalty-free song. It's kind of a mixture of 80s and 90s sounds. So let's give it a try. So the cool thing is I can use a button on the side of my phone to control the volume. So as I'm back here, I'm at 8 right now. 16. All right, Leo's getting down. All right, let's keep going up. Gonna push the volume. Let's grab one of these speakers. Show you how that works. So there's a primary. Go ahead and turn this on.
Power on. Searching for primary. Secondary synced.
All right, so I guess it automatically pauses it. I'll hit play. And I can individually control the sound of these secondary speakers. So if I want to have the primary louder and these quieter, I can do that.
It doesn't work for me. I gotta have more cowbell.
So one thing I noticed that this sound really travels. So when I was like 250, 300 feet over there, I could clearly hear what song I was listening to. So the main thing I want to say when you're turning this up, that it doesn't distort, it stays nice and clear so you can hear it from a great distance. All right, I'm gonna see if I can fit this on my scale right here. I'm gonna take the battery out. All right, 15 pounds, 1.6 ounces. Let's take a look where the battery goes. So as I showed you, I was using the smallest battery. You can get the 1.5 amp hour. But if you want to see if the largest battery they make fits, this is the 12 amp hour. This thing's huge. Yes, that will fit. It does stick out, but boy, you could get some long run time with that. So I was going to go over all the specs on the box. I think the only thing I didn't cover was saying that the USB charging capacity, 2.1 amp. And then right here, as you can see, it has a 3-year warranty, and this model that I'm reviewing is a tool only. So the battery and charger is sold separately. I'm not sure if they're going to sell this in a kit or not, but if they do, I'll put a link down below when that's available. And this runs off any of the 18-volt 1+ batteries, and I believe it's over 300 tools that they have now that this will run on. All right, so now that you've had a chance to get a first-hand look at the new Ryobi 18-volt Verslink stereo, I want to know if you want to know anything else about this. If so, please put your comments or your questions down below. And I'd like to know from you, is this something that you would hook up those other speakers? Would you buy into that system? Would you like to be surrounded by sound and not just have one primary speaker, but have some satellite speakers? Now, last thing I want to say, if you enjoy this video, especially being able to see a product before it's even on the shelves, please give the video a thumbs up and help support the channel. So that's it for now, friends. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Hey Oakley, what do you think about the Ryobi Verslink stereo?